Hello there, my collective signs. This is a message for all zodiac signs. Anyone that's felt guided to watch, welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. Today's video is a collective message, so if something doesn't resonate, just leave it behind for someone else. If you decide you're interested in a personalized reading, feel free to reach out to me. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm looking out the window and there's a butterfly. So a butterfly might be a significant message for some of you. It was a very big butterfly. They're surrounding my neighbor's milkweed over there. I think it's a monarch butterfly, so that might be a significant message for some of you. I also have the first other card I have is an animal card as well. It was a deer, and I just saw a deer yesterday when I was on one of the walks that I take in the woods, kind of like a nature preserve area. So maybe this is a message to get outside, or if you've seen deer, even if it's just on your phone scrolling through the feed of whatever, this is a synchronicity or just a confirmation for you at this time. So it says, bring gentleness and grace in every aspect of your life. That's what the deer represents in this oracle deck. Now, for the collective, we have been having major shifts happening because of the energy. Like there's the Lionsgate portal is a major energy opportunity, the biggest one of the year for all of us to shift from an old mindset into a new. This is basically the jumping of timelines. So when you watch these videos and you see like tarot readers that are like, this is a portal, this is a portal. A portal is basically a choice. That's what it is. It's a fork in the road for you or whatever, whoever is in your life, your relationships, whatever it is, your jobs, your career, your family. It's a choice that you must make, that somebody else must make, or everybody's making. And it is hopefully a choice that you're making for the betterment of yourself, for the betterment of humanity, for the betterment of the collective. But ultimately that decision is going to be up to you. So if you're not sure which way to go, Spirit is asking you to meditate and contemplate at this time. I know some of you are like, ugh, meditation. I totally understand. I am not. I have type A personality. I probably like INTJ or INF. I don't remember what like Briggs-Myers thing I am, but I'm neurodivergent and I probably have ADHD or whatever as well, because it's really hard for me to like lay in bed and shut my brain off. But I'm also a mom, so like sometimes that's just takes a toll on you, because for at least for me or most moms, we're always like mentally planning the next steps of the next day, because there's a lot of stuff to do and I have an itinerary that I need to follow and things like that. So if you've had a hard time meditating or contemplating, my suggestion is to listen to binaural beats or solfeggio frequencies. That's a nice way to kind of just relax your mind. You're just kind of in flow with the music. That's how I like to get in my zone. If you're like not interested in that, there's some breathing techniques you can use, something called box breathing, Wim Hof. I have a bunch of videos on this channel that you can click and watch, and there's a lot of things you can learn about different types of meditation. So that's just a couple, but you have to remember that you have the power to change your life for the better, which is what this moon card is all about. So you have the power to change your life for the better. It is a choice. It is a decision we all must make about releasing the past and moving forward and going with grace. Now, that is a difficult thing to do sometimes, especially when we're in our ego mindset and our ego wants to preserve itself. So it's basically like, you kind of can sometimes let pride get in the way, even when we think we're not being prideful. So it's kind of a hard thing to discern, like at least for me it is, where I want to be petty or I want to match somebody's energy, but then I have to like take a step back, take a breath, really sit with myself and be like, okay, why is it I'm choosing or wanting to choose this avenue or this option, and how can I be responsive instead of reactive? And I do feel like you're mending some old relationships, old cycles, old patterns. For some of you, this might be with a sister that you're mending a relationship with. I'm not sure why, but I just got that vibe. I think I was listening to a Casey Musgraves song earlier. It was about her sister, so I can't remember the name of it, but it was a sweet song, so that might be relevant to some of you. But I also, when I meditate, I listen to music, and I listen to this one called The Edge of the Earth by The Beaches. I've never listened to their music before. I just thought it was interesting. They're like a girl band, which I thought was cool. And I don't know, that might be relevant for some of you. Now, Spirit wants you to kind of reach this point of impartiality. Like you're neither here nor there. You're like, maybe you feel like you're not really like happy or sad. You're just kind of in this space in between. And I feel like that's a positive place to be. at this time, but I do feel like it's also kind of like this card to me is like that saying, like, it is what it is. Sometimes when people say that, I get really irritated and really triggered, but it is what you make it, as kind of my switch on that. And some things are out of our control, yes, some things are not. So how can you make lemonade from the lemons that life gives you, and move forward? That's kind of your challenge at this time with this lunar cycle. Now we're in a Lionsgate portal period where the energy is still high for the next week or so after you're watching this video. Now that gives us opportunity and time to grow, but there's also, we're in Leo season, so this is all about confidence building and trying to plant the seeds for what we want in the future, for our future self, and how we want to come across to people in our energy, in our first impression, and those sorts of vibes. Now there's also a period of growth that's going to be happening with the full moon in Capricorn, or sorry, not Capricorn, Aquarius. Some of you might be dealing with Capricorn, which is why that came out of my mouth, or there might be significance to the full moon coming up in Capricorn for you, because I feel like this Aquarius cycle is going to be all about your commitment to yourself and your service to the collective, to humanity. And that's what Aquarius is all about. And hopefully you're really channeling this like mending energy, and you're healing yourself, so that way you can put your best foot forward and release the past and start to mold and create what it is you want for your future. Now, the next card I have for you, collective, is Develop. This is tied to your third eye intuition. Now, it says, write down your dreams and record the dates. What sort of clear symbols appear in your dreams? And by following the pattern and meaning making in your dreams, you'll most likely learn what you already know. Now, dreams are very, very significant if you can recall them. A lot of people have the issue where they can't recall their dreams. They don't remember anything. Sometimes before you go to bed, if you ask your guides or your angels or your higher self to help you remember your dreams, you will have a better chance of that if you're being consciously aware of what you're trying to do. But I highly recommend putting a journal beside your nightstand or on your nightstand or whatever, because usually when we're in that wake up phase, our brains are in this gamma state, and we kind of have a very small window of opportunity to have that memory recall from our dreams. And it's like a 5 minute to 10 minute period. It's very short. And if you can't, within those first 5 to 10 minutes of waking up, write that down, you're going to lose it and you won't remember it. And then it's just kind of gone. So sometimes, we'll have reoccurring dreams or reoccurring nightmares or something like that. And that is our subconscious sending us a message as well. So make sure you're paying a lot of attention to your dreams. And if you don't have dreams, you should probably work on that, because most of us should be dreaming. If you're not dreaming, it's probably because you're not connected to your higher self. And the gray on the outside of this card is connected to your crown chakra, which is the connection from your head to source energy, essentially. So if you want to learn more about chakras, go check out my chakra video, and you can learn how to unblock your chakras. But I also highly recommend Reiki from a Reiki professional. Now, the I Ching card that I have for you, collective, is 40, which is number release, but 40 might be a significant number for some of you. Now, this card says to release is to liberate. To solve problems is to untie knots. The first step is going back to your roots to reconnect with home, allies, especially if you have no clear destination. So when you know where you're coming from, you can be more certain about where it is you're going, and you can explore other ways to reach it. Now, going to the past can be helpful. For some of you, it can't be. So I'm not condoning a situation where you're putting yourself in, a history that's going to cause you harm or anything like that. But I do think glancing at the past is very vital. Sometimes even sometimes you'll find answers in reverse. That's the only way I can think to put it. It's like, when you find yourself in a pattern of unhealthy or toxic relationships, you have to realize at some point you are the common denominator, and then you have to go and do this introspection and really dive in to the shadow work and do the healing and see why it is you have this attraction or this draw to certain types of people. And usually if you're really self-aware, if you're really able to reflect and understand yourself, you'll find, most people find, psychologically this is true. I've read like so many books on psychology and wounding and trauma and things of that nature. 9 times out of 10, we're drawn to people who are exactly like our families, be it, whoever it was as a male figure in our life or a female figure in our life, or our siblings even. Sometimes we are drawn to date those sorts of people or be friends with those types of people because it's a very familiar feeling. It feels comfortable because it feels like home, because that's the only thing we ever knew growing up. And in the first 7 years of your life, you're establishing a routine, you're establishing boundaries, you're establishing your sense of self and your personality, and that naturally is going to draw and attract in the sorts of people that you were with for the first 7 years of your life. It's basically the programming that we all get when we come into this matrix. The first 7 years are the vital periods of time that morph us into who we are on a personality level and as well as an ego level. So, I'm chatty. Okay. Next card I have for you, collective, is the Castle. This card, I've said it before. I think I said it in Aquarius' reading, maybe. I think they got this card too. This reminds me of the Teresa of Avila book. If you have never heard of that, I would highly recommend reading it. It's about a Spanish nun who went through her own dark night of the soul and enlightenment process, and she basically she described the different compartments of our interior selves, this interior castle that we all have housed within us of these different parts and facets and refractions of ourselves that we don't always let shine. And that's what the castle is. It's like discovering those old identities or facets of yourself that you maybe buried or covered up to please somebody else. And now you're kind of unearthing those traits and qualities, it's a refreshing feeling, but it's also sometimes an ominous feeling when we've been trapped in a state of fight or flight or panic mode, or just like this kind of melancholic type of vibe. So Spirit's lesson for you at this time, collective, is tolerance. It says you appreciate others' points of view because you sense the love in everyone. Sometimes that's hard to see, especially if you have access to supernatural abilities. That can be difficult when you can feel energy and sense people's intentions, and tolerance can be hard. And sometimes you might find yourself isolating and not wanting to be surrounded by anyone because all of that energy kind of latches onto you, especially when you're an empathic person and you really absorb people's thoughts and feelings and emotions. It just takes an energetic toll on you. So make sure you're grounding yourself at this time too. Now, I'm going to dive into the tarot here. Hopefully this message has resonated so far with you. If it has, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. I hope tarot and the wisdom oracle cards and everything I've had to say has helped you in like the tiniest way. Tarot has dug me out of a lot of hard spots that I was in. Just getting the divine guidance and channeling messages for myself has really, really helped me on my own path. So maybe you feel guided to do the same thing or start your own channel, and I hope you do. Now, your past energy here is the 5 of Cups. This is apathy and remorse and just kind of crying over spilled milk, because there's still 2 cups behind you. You just can't really see it right now. It's just the hardship of letting go of something else. It's like you can't really see the silver lining. But again, that's where the impartiality card comes into play. It's like kind of be here nor there about it, because maybe what you had wasn't all that like great, but you have this illusion or perception that it was. But sometimes that happens when we go through a breakup or a divorce, or we lose someone we really loved. It's called there's a name for it. It's like widow's remorse or something like that, which is basically like you idealize the person that you were with because they're gone now, and maybe you paint a picture of them as a person they weren't ever going to be, but in your head it's like you really miss what you never had with that person. And that is a hard concept to grasp sometimes, because we want to see people live up to their full potential, and that's not how it always is. So the next card you have is 5 again. So 2 5s. 5 symbolizes change. Now, the Hierophant is all about education and learning and growth and exploration. This is also tied to traditional mindsets, so such as theology. Now, if you're trying to learn something new, or if you've been dealing with a Taurus, this is just a confirmation for you. But I do feel like you're tapping into your resources. So maybe you've been reading a lot of books. Maybe you've been really diving in headfirst to spirituality. And I do feel like you're moving forward and progressing because of that. So the next card I have for you is the Future card. This is the Seven of Cups. This is all about manifestations. This is options. This is prayer. It can be a prayer card. So, if you're religious people usually pray. If you're spiritual, you say manifestation. If you're, just nothing, you just say, I'm wishing for something to happen. So whatever way you want to think about this card, Seven of Cups is basically like something you want to happen in the future, and there's a lot of options. Now, interestingly enough, your subconscious energy was the Seven of Swords. So you have 2 sevens, 2 5s, and 2 7s. So that might be significant for some of you. But the Seven of Swords is like walking away from things that weren't going to benefit you, kind of running away from issues and problems that you may need to face and address at some point in time, but maybe you're not ready to do that yet. It's kind of like that escape card. Like, I want to run away and hide under my pillows. But again, I feel like it's this mending energy that you're in, and it just takes the wind out of your sails for a time. And sometimes you just need to have a break and let it go to the universe and trust that they have your best interest in mind. And sometimes, again, that's just difficult to do. And that's about the spirit of tolerance as well. It's like there's not much that's in your control at this time. It's just kind of what it is. So, all right, collective, that's what I have for you. Again, hopefully this message helped. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next time.